Welcome to the BeDoKnit podcast. My name is Amy Olson, and this is my podcast where I talk about my knitting, what I am working on, and sometimes plans for the future, some finished objects, acquisitions, what I'm reading, whatever comes to mind. So, if you hear some crinkling in the background, that is my dogs. They're playing with their toys. We are on vacation in Grand Marais, Minnesota, and we are in the midst of a blizzard and an ice storm. So when we came up here last Wednesday, it is now Tuesday, the 26th. When we came up here on last Wednesday, the 20th, it was like spring. There was no snow on the ground. There was no snow on the trails. We were hiking. We went up to the border of Minnesota and Canada, which is only a 30 to 40 minute drive from where we are. And we hiked the Grand Portage Trail to the High Falls, which is just gorgeous. And I will pop in a photo of that High Falls. It's amazing. If you've never been and you live anywhere near Minnesota, I would highly recommend it. Super easy hike too. It's paved, even, it's accessible for wheelchairs, and anyway, it is a very, very beautiful falls. So, and it's on the Pigeon River, which divides Minnesota and Canada. So Minnesota kind of is shaped like this, and we live in the cities down here, and if you follow that line that kind of curves around like this, we're at the very tippy top up there near Canada in a little tiny town called Grand Marais, Minnesota. So yeah, we are in the middle of a snowstorm, an ice storm. Today it's ice. When I woke up this morning, I came upstairs, and this place where we're staying has these huge windows. And I looked out the window. Tried to look out the window. It's like sheer ice over the window. So we are snowed in, iced in, and we haven't left our unit for like a couple days. I usually, when I'm in Grand Marais, I'll walk the dogs down to the lake in the morning and be near the lighthouse and the shore, and maybe take photos and videos of the sunrise. Walk all the way through town to the other end, which is not far. It's a really small town. But I will take photos of the lake, and it's just it's a blizzard, so it's like white out. And, if I can see the lake, it's huge waves crashing onto the shore, and it's just gorgeous, but it's, a little treacherous. I tried to walk the dogs out on the street. We're kind of staying at this place that's on a hill, and I tried walking up and down that hill, and it was just like sliding around. So we're just kind of walking the dogs right outside our unit here, and they are going stir crazy, and we are too a little bit. But it sounds like we're gonna try to get out a little bit today and go see the big waves that are crashing on the shore. That'll be pretty fun. So today I have a finished object to show you. I have progress on a couple of WIPs, or works in progress, and then a little update on my wrap, and some acquisitions, and a book review. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, hang out. So my first things first, I know I told you last time that I was going to make this emotional support chicken. And this kit is from Knitting Tree LA. And the knittingtreela.com was where I ordered the kit from. And all of the kits have such funny names. So, it's a chicken. So this one's called Yoko Ono. And I know I pronounced it Yoko Ono. I think I was just trying to get that L in there so it was differentiated from her name. But it's Yoko Ono is the name of my chicken. But there's other ones like Tail Feather Swift, Dolly Part Hen, Henry Styles, or I don't know, there's just a lot of different ones. Cardi Beak. So funny. So anyway, yeah, I bought the kit, and I was inspired to make this by watching Needles at the Ready. Kevin and Ray both made a chicken, and I think Ray has already made the second one. So funny. They have a kit along going through the end of March. So I finished mine just in the nick of time. So I went on their Ravelry page and joined the group, the Needles at the Ready podcast group. And then I saw in, their list of cals and knit-alongs and that kind of thing, I saw the kit along. So I posted my finished chicken yesterday. So this is Yoko Ono. Wobble wobble. So she is very cute. And as you can see, she's got these little eyes. The eyes came with the kit, the red yarn, the yellow yarn, this sort of speckly white. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but this white is kind of, it's got like almost like confetti colors, like light blue, light pink. Yeah. And then the other color is kind of this black with maroon and gray, specks of white and tan. And anyway, this is Yoko Ono, and she's pretty amazing. So yeah, it was really fun to make. I started right before we left home, I think, and then, she's really squishable. So I started before we left the house, and then I was making it in the car on the way up, and then I just spent the first few days here making Yoko Ono. So she's pretty cute, and I preemptively bought some stuffing because I knew I needed to finish it and post in the FOs on the Needles at the Ready podcast. So I did that. And you start kind of here at the tail, and you make this section and using short rows, and then you do this section, and this is all flat, obviously, doing short rows, and then you pick up, with the color B, the white color, you pick up stitches all along here, and needles and the damage done. As you can see, I did not pick up very well on the first row, and so on the second time through, I had to pick up in between stitches, and it kind of got jaggedy. But you know what? It's a chicken. It's a stuffed toy. I let it go. I could go back through there with maybe a crochet hook or something and just duplicate stitch, or, do a little crochet, I don't know, something to close up those holes that have been created now, because I don't know, I added a stitch. I probably should have grabbed from the stitch below or something to prevent that. I don't know. Maybe you all know. And then from there, you keep going with the next color, and you kind of create the chicken breast, so it's like this on both sides. And, it's just again, a series of short row shaping that happens to get those, and you keep working your way up. And this is, at this time, it's just totally flat. You keep going and do these stripes, and then you finish with the head, and the beak is actually the last thing that you knit on. And then you knit these two items separately and then tack them on, or whip stitch them onto the chicken. So, yeah, and one thing that I had to fix is that there is a shorter, the comb, there was a shorter one over here that's supposed to be in the back, and I put the shorter one up front. So I just used my little crochet hook, and I went back in there. This handy dandy tool that I love so much, it's just like a little crochet hook with a little, oops, getting them caught in there, with a little pointy side. I just took this crochet hook after the fact and added some crochet stitches around this top part of the comb, just to increase, because that was the short one. So it's knitted, this comb is knitted, but then I used a crochet hook and just added a few more stitches up on top. So that seemed to work pretty well. And yeah, I think she turned out pretty good. So yeah, she is just gorgeous and super squishable, and I'm gonna have to watch my dogs pretty closely because I need them to know this is my toy and not theirs. So yeah, emotional support chicken. Just, what does it say on the bag? Life is hard. We all need a chicken to make it better. So yeah, this is just a fun little project that I've seen a lot of people making toys, and this chicken in particular, I think I saw Wool Needles Hands, Taylor from Wool Needles Hands made one, and I'm gonna have to watch her episode about her chicken afterwards. But I thought this turned out pretty good. It's not perfect, like it's not hanging down perfectly, and I kind of like that because I feel like, you know, it wouldn't be perfect. It's kind of got this like twist. I like it. There she is, Yoko Ono. So yeah, finished object on my trip, and that was pretty fun to make. So the next thing is, when I came up here, when I come up to Grand Marais, I always go to 3 places. Java Moose, which is the coffee shop, and my friend Sarah Jorgensen, she's my friend only because I met her up here and we bonded over Clogs. We both love Clogs from Svens in Chisago Lakes. So Svens Clogs. And they also produce the number 6 clogs that were really, I think they were sold in New York City. And I don't even know where they were sold back in the day, but they make the number 6 clogs that were sold in New York City somewhere. I have no idea. But it's kind of fun because I could go to the showroom here in Minnesota and get number 6 clogs that are normally, you know, a higher price, I think, in New York, and I could get them. Like they have like clogs for sale that aren't perfect, and they have maybe like a little detail that's off, but I don't care. And then I bought a couple, I wore a pair of number 6 clog boots for years, back in like 2014, 15, 16, and I love those things. I wore them every single day. So anyway, love clogs. Sarah and I bonded about that. So I always go down there and I get a Harbor cookie and an Americano from that coffee shop. And then as I work your way down, I love going into the Ben Franklin. They have everything. If I need a Carhartt stocking cap or something, I go in there. And then Upstate MN is another favorite shop. He has really highly curated items, linen garments. He carries Scarf Shop, which is a Minneapolis company, but Scarf Shop scarves, which I love. And they're made with like organic cotton, and some of them are wool. Like, I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, it's a wool scarf, but it is gorgeous. And what else? Some of their candles are so good. One of my favorite mugs is from there. I don't have my earrings on, but the hoops that I usually wear, I got there as well. Yeah, so anyway, love that shop, and Christopher, the owner, is a dear friend and amazing. Anyway, so then I always stop at the yarn shop up here. It's called Dappled Fern Fibers, and Dorothy is the owner. She's amazing. And I went in there to join on Saturday morning to join the knitting group, but knitting group wasn't happening because there was a retreat happening Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all 3 days full of, you know, a full agenda for each day. And it was, yeah. So they were having that in the back of the shop, and so I didn't get to join the knitting group, but maybe next time. So while I was there, I've been wanting to make, and if you've been watching, you saw that I want to make a petite knit stocking cap. Either, what was the other one called? The Weekender? The Weekend hat, or I can't remember, but I want to make the Oslo Hat. Anyway, so as you know, if you've been watching, I love the color of the yarn that I'm making for Gina's Anders tea. And So I got some for myself to make the Oslo hat. And I'm making the mohair version of the hat. And I got that dark ochre color from Knitting for Olive in the mohair and merino. So this is the merino over here, and this is the soft silk mohair over here. So yeah. And I'm super excited. I got started on it, but I did not get very far, so I have nothing really to show for myself. But this is just the beginnings. So yeah, super excited, holding that in my BAGGU Cloud medium-sized bag. And I got 2 balls of each of the merino and the mohair. So more to come on that. Super excited. And that is a pattern, the Oslo Hat by Petite Knit. And I think it calls for a US 3 needle, which is US 3. This is one of my favorite tools ever. It's a Hiya Hiya needle gauge. And it has US size and millimeter. And then on the other side is a ruler, so I use that to get my gauge. But anyway, yeah, so it's a US, normally knit with a US 3 and a 3.25 millimeter. And I went up, after doing my gauge swatch, I needed to go up. So a needle size. So I went to a US 4, 3.5 millimeter, and I hope that works out. It wasn't perfect, but it's like, what are you gonna do? I'm between those 2 needles. So yeah, I'm trying to knit tight using a US 4. But it was like with the 3, I was getting 25 stitches per inch, or 25 stitches per 4 inches. And then with the US 4, I was getting 22, and it's supposed to be 23 stitches per inch, or for 4 inches, 10 centimeters. So I hope it's okay. We'll see. I mean, I should be able to, once I get a little more, once I get a couple of inches, it's just a hat. So I should be able to just stick it on my head and, kind of feel it out. Put some barber cords in there and just try it on. So I'm hoping that'll work out, but we will see. And then I will show you my progress on Gina's tee, and this is in my Bookhou bag. Do you all know Bookhou? I love these straps on this bag, and I love the print. I think I got the idea to get this from Melissa at Espace Tricot. So she had this bag, and then it even has a leather tie where you can, kind of cinch it up like that. But look at how wide the bottom is. Just a big old square. So anyway, lots of yarn in there. It fits a lot of yarn in that big square bag. But yeah, this is my Anders tee for Gina, and it's going pretty well. I have the sleeves. I separated for sleeves, and right now, yeah, this is the progress. So yeah, I'm super happy with it. And how beautiful is that lace work in this color? Oh, I just think it's gorgeous. So I separated for sleeves, and I've got that much done under the sleeve. So not too shabby. I did have to, when I separated for sleeves, I was very confused about the raglan stitches and taking those stitch markers out and, putting just leaving the beginning of round marker, and then how the lace pattern continued with the picked up stitches under the sleeve and the body. So I was just confused, like, where on this chart do I start in my beginning of round? So here, there's this little chart that you use for the rest of the body, and this is held on my Coco Knits stand. I love this thing with the ruler. So helpful to have for a lace pattern, to have that ruler and just shift it up. My mom, when I was talking to her on the phone, she said, do you use a Post-it note and just like put it over your, on your chart and then take it off and repeel, because with a Post-it note you can take it off and then stick it and take it off and stick it. That's how she does it, and I thought that was pretty brilliant. But no, I don't do that. I use my ruler and I told her about this stand, so maybe I'll have to get her one of these if she gets into it. So yeah, I was a little confused. Needles and the damage done, but I ripped back a couple rows and it took probably a good hour or a full murder, what is it called? Death in Paradise episode on BritBox, but I got through it. And you have to unpick each stitch for a lacework pattern. You can't just take it off the needles and rip back a couple. I mean, at least I can't, because it's such intricate stitches. So anyway, I spent a good hour or two picking back 2 stitches at a time, 180 stitches each round or something like that. Oh my gosh, it was a racket, but I got through it and I got going, and now it's looking good. So I'm very happy with this one. And I just love this color. I'm like looking at myself now in the thing going, do I need to make one of these for myself? Maybe. So anywho, but now I've got my hat in this color. It's called Dark Ochre. Knitting for Olive, Dark Ochre. Love this color. So yeah, that's my progress on that. And then I have a WIP. I was just watching, what is her name? I'll figure it out and put it on the screen, but I was watching a podcast, New to Me podcast, of this woman who lived in New York City and then moved to the Bay Area, and she was giving an update. She called it her WIP down when she was giving an update on all her WIPs. So this is my WIP down. Anyway, so that is so funny. I love that so much. So number 2 in the WIP down, or I guess we're on to number 3. I had the hat, the Anders tee, and now another, well, this isn't petite. Yeah, the Oslo hat was petite knit. So this is the No Frills. I almost forgot. This is the No Frills sweater. And this one is just such a nice knit to have on the go because it's just stockinette stitch. So just knit every round. Now that I'm not doing those raglan increases, and I've made some progress on the sleeves. So I separated for sleeves last time I updated you, and now that's how far I got. So I've done a little bit made a little progress on this on vacation, but not quite as, well, probably about the same amount. I'm kind of neck and neck with these 2 garments, the No Frills. And this is No Frills by Petite Knit. I believe this is worked on US 7s, I think. And the yarn for this one is Cardiff Cashmere. Maybe it's US 6. The yarn is Cardiff Cashmere, and that's a DK weight yarn. A lot of people use mohair and a fingering weight for that sweater held together, which also equals a DK. But I just bought a DK in cashmere, Cardiff Cashmere, in the colorway Hermé 517. I've said it before. So yeah, and I think I mentioned what this is, but maybe not. So this is Knitting for Olive, this colorway, and it is Knitting for Olive Dark Ochre in cotton merino. So my hat in dark ochre is mohair held with merino. This is cotton merino. So it'll be good for summer, or at least spring, fall, and maybe cooler summer days. Not in the dead heat of summer, I wouldn't imagine I'd want any merino on me at all. That's just me. But anyway, then I thought I would tell you all the things that, one other thing. One other FO is my wrap design. So I am still working on writing my patterns, updating a few patterns to be more size inclusive before I release this one. But I did on the North Shore get to do a photo shoot with this one. So very excited about that. I wove in my ends. I was gonna do that at Dappled Fern, weave in all my ends, but I got her done and I took a photo shoot. So I'm very excited about this. These colors. So these colors bring me life. Every time I see them, it just brings me so much joy. And this is a homespun house yarn, fingering weight, held with mohair as part of a homespun house advent calendar this past Christmas. And I opened a new skein every day during Advent. And those are in my Vlogmas episodes. So yeah, this is, I'm excited to share those pictures, but I'm gonna wait until I launch the pattern. So more to come on that. And then I just thought I would kind of show you the items that I bring, my knitting accoutrements that I bring, and tools, knitting tools on vacation. So the first two I will chat about are these two little cases. I bought these little kind of felty looking cases. They're like little boxes at Target, and I just set them in my knitting bag. And it holds like these little containers of stitch markers. I don't know about you guys, but this was probably like a little thing of candy. It's got some old label on it, but I just put my stitch markers in there, and I love to do that. And some barber cords. And, ooh, sorry for the noise. More stitch markers, little round ones. And then I think in here I have like, this was from a homespun house, like a box of Huga or something. I think there are those like, I use Knitter's Pride interchangeable needles. And so there's those like little ends that you can put on each side if you're just gonna put stitches on hold. So those are there. Tape measure. I just bought some more Coco Knits stitch markers from Dappled Fern Fibers. Shop up here. I love this size because it's like all these things I'm knitting right now would use these stitch markers instead of those, whoops, jumbo ones. But yeah, I love that size stitch marker. So I think it's for up to US 7 is the limit. So yeah, love those. And then of course, gotta have my Badger Lip Balm. Love my Badger Lip Balm. That's in here. Some tapestry needles. I have 2 things full of tapestry needles. Really, do I need to bring all those on vacation? No, but did I? Yes. Like I said, my gauge deal, scissors, and then the cutest little stitch stoppers, especially for the North Shore. How cute are these little dudes? Oops, can I get them in focus? There we go. These little foxes, they are so cute. So those, and then I got these. I got both of these at Dappled Fern Fibers too, back in the day. And these just have like little confetti looking, I don't know, something or other in there. So yeah, that's what I bring. I bring all that and I just place it on top of my knitting. And then I always, just in case I start a new project, which I did with my Oslo hat, I bring my needle case. So these are I even have my Chiagu shorties downstairs, but these are my Knitter's Pride ones. The short needles that I'm using that on the hat because those big ones with the 16-inch circular, it's too, need a little shorter of a needle. So I got this short needle kit, and then I bring this one with all my needles and then some extra cords. So yeah, I bring all that on vacation. It's probably a bit much, but I do it because you never know when you're gonna need something. So yeah, that's what I bring. And then also at Dappled Fern Fibers, I picked up a couple of these soak like wool wash for blocking. And I love these smells. So the first one is, oh, looks like I bought the sample. Sorry, Dorothy, I bought your sample. It says smell me. So this is the Wild Mint. And then this is Pineapple Grove. I asked the gal who was working behind the counter while the retreat was happening, because Dorothy was in the back. I asked her what her favorite smell was, and she said this Pineapple Grove one. Yeah, it's great. It smells like pineapple. It is yummy. So I think I saw, who did I see using this? Summer Lee on OK Knit podcast. I saw her using this soak, and I was like, oh, I've always used the Eucalyptus, this one, the lavender, but I thought I'd give this soak brand a try. So what do you guys use to do your blocking and your wool washing? Do you use soak or do you use Eucalyptus? What's your favorite one? Just curious. So then last but not least, I wanted to tell you about a book I finished reading. This book is so apropos that I finished this book up here, because I bought this book up here at a little bookshop called Drury Lane, which I think is the name of a street in a Jane Austen novel. I don't know which one, but I love Jane Austen. I've read every Jane Austen book, every Anne Lamott book, and every Mary Oliver book of poetry. So I love those three writers. Who are your favorite writers? Is there a writer that you just like have read every single one of their books? I would love to know. So this book I purchased at the Drury Lane bookshop in Grand Marais, and it is fantastic. Firekeeper's Daughter, and it is by Angeline Booley. So she is a member of the Sault Saint, or maybe it's Sault Ste. Marie, Sault Ste. Marie, tribe of Chippewa Indians, and is a storyteller who writes about her Ojibwe community in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. So she lives on another Great Lake, and up here there is a reservation just north of us on Lake Superior. So this is a really incredible book about this young Native American woman. I guess she's like a teenager maybe, or is she just past high school, maybe college. I think she's just entering college. But anyway, she is from this community, and she's a hockey player, and it's a story about her finding her identity, and she talks just a lot about the Native culture that she lives in, and you learn so much about the culture and history, and it's so fantastic, you guys. You gotta read this book. I won't say too much and give anything away, but there's basically a problem happening in the community, and she does something to help her community, and at the same time is like, realizing and discovering things about herself and self-realizations and stuff about her identity. So anyway, so good. Read this book. I promise you will not regret it. And then two other books that I always bring with me on vacation. One is The Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo. And this book is so great. It's just like every day is a daily meditation that you can read, and I think today's was like feeling your feelings. So like if you don't feel your feelings, they come out sideways in some random way, and I'm sure we've all been there, So anyway, that's a great book. It's just like a daily meditation book, daily reader. And then this one, Mary Oliver Devotions. So this pulls poems from many of her books and her books of poetry. So I just love this book. And there was one poem that reminded me of, I think it's called Storm. Yeah. So it reminded me of taking my dogs out for trying to get them to go to the bathroom this morning. Sorry, TMI. But like taking them out, and after it snowed, there's an ice storm, and when those conditions happen, it's like the snow becomes crunchy. And so after they did their business, they were just like running around in the parking lot, and like it was just all this like crunch, crunch, crunch. So anyway, this is called The Storm. Now, through the white orchard, my little dog romps, breaking the new snow with wild feet. Running here, running there, excited, hardly able to stop. He leaps, he spins, until the white snow is written upon in large, exuberant letters. A long sentence expressing the pleasures of the body in this world. Oh, I could not have said it better myself. Like what the dog wrote in the snow. She couldn't have said it better herself. So anyway, that's just like a little taste of Mary Oliver. Ugh. She is just incredible. If you haven't read any poetry by Mary Oliver, highly recommend. I just devour her books of poetry. I could just read them back to back to back. So good. Anyway, I hope you're all enjoying the spring. It feels like winter up here, but I hope you're all enjoying spring wherever you are, or winter if that's where you are. And yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of your day whenever you watch this, and I hope you're making something wonderful and you have wonderful fibers running through your fingers. And yeah, until next time, I will just say bye. Bye for now. Talk to you later.